Hey, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD bringing you guys some Injustice Gods Among Us for the PlayStation 3 on release night for this game. It's almost 4 a.m. I'm sick as a dog. This is actually about as sick as I've ever been trying to record commentary, so you'll have to excuse me if I sound a little bit wrecked, but I'm going to be showing you some highlights of my first couple hours on this game, and I have to tell you right out of the gate, and I've said this many times before on my channel, there's certain fighting games I'm pretty good at, like Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom. And then there's games like Mortal Kombat and this one, which I'm just not naturally very good at. Now, I started to get the hang of playing the Flash towards the end of the night, but overall, I'm about as average as you get on this title, so don't expect to see any 20-hit juggling combos flashing across the screen in this video. Now, with a game like this, I usually tend to just poke around and play against the computer, and I hardly ever go online and throw down with the real competition, so maybe if I can make some time to practice this week, I may be able to go online and put on a show. I'm not sure. Just kind of depends on how I'm feeling, how much time I have. But let's not waste any more time talking about that stuff. Let's go ahead and just get right into the first impressions, because I do have some subscriber commentary to discuss with you guys for the last half of this video. But when the demo released for this game, I played it for about 3 hours. Almost all of it was with Batman, just practicing and trying to figure out the game. And that night, when I cut the game off, I was kind of left with a strange feeling. I usually can do a first impressions on just a few minutes of gameplay, and when that demo released, I did not do a first impressions on it. And for the most part, I'm usually pretty accurate with determining how the final full game's going to be. Of course, there's rare exceptions like Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 that takes a nosedive after the first stage or first play, but this one I was leaning towards actually not liking the game after playing the demo. I just wasn't impressed with the overly dark stages. The combat felt a bit mechanical. It just wasn't free flowing, at least for me, and it reminded me a lot of Mortal Kombat, just without the gory, gruesome finishing moves that makes those titles so fun to play. And I also had spent some time with DC vs. Mortal Kombat when I did the Superhero Countdown video last year, and this demo reminded me a lot of that game, and I just wasn't thrilled with that game. In fact, it was number 15 out of 20 on that Superhero Countdown, so I had a lot of doubts and questions about if this game was going to be worth playing or if it was just going to be any good at all. But after playing for 2 hours tonight, I can say confidently it's not only much better than the teaser we were shown with the demo, but it's leaps and bounds better than what I thought it was going to be. For the rookie fighters out there like me, it's got a very good tutorial that walks you through everything, and then after that you can go into these stars missions, which is kind of like mini fights or mini games, and it applies even more training as you perfect your craft. So even if you're not that good at fighting games, or if you weren't that good at the demo, it does a really good job of just getting you ready for this game. I will say though, from everything I've seen in that mode, it's going to be pretty challenging. I'm not a fighting game expert, but some of the first few challenges in the stars mode were pretty tough, and I didn't even try to attempt to get 3 stars on most of these missions. But most good fighting games, at least that I've played over the last few years, has some type of mode that's very similar to this that are pretty demanding. So you're either going to need to be pretty good at fighting games or one very patient person if you're going to try to go after 3 stars on all the events. Luckily though, you can skip through some of the events if they're too hard for you. Now, the combat itself is a lot better than what I first absorbed in the demo. It's kind of hard to explain, but just after playing with the Flash tonight, I was able to pull off some pretty fluid combos that for whatever reason I just couldn't do in the demo with Batman. Maybe it's because I went through the tutorial on the full game and actually understood a good bit of how the battle system works. Now, the one gripe I do have is with the super special moves. I think if you've played this game on a regular basis, those long cutscenes are going to get pretty old. I was already kind of getting tired of watching the Flash do his. I wish they would have made a few different ones for each character just to kind of mix things up a bit, but that's more of an opinion than anything else. From a technical standpoint, the game ran great. I tested out all the modes tonight except online in the story mode. But again, this is just a first impressions, not a review, which some people seem to get confused about on some of these videos. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a full review on this game or not. I think that's going to depend on how much I'm going to have to say after playing through the story mode and maybe a little bit of online once I test those out. But I will say, from everything that I've seen so far tonight, just playing in the different modes, playing around on a few different characters, it's a pretty technically solid and, more importantly, fun fighting game. And even if you're like me and you had your doubts about the demo, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with how well everything holds up that wasn't shown in the demo and how the complete game turned out. Now, with all that out of the way, I do have a little bit of commentary in relation to this channel, and I actually had thought about discussing this a few times now in some of the previous videos, and I really couldn't figure out a way to properly address it with you guys. The last couple videos that I uploaded on the channel, you might have heard me express a little bit of frustration in those 2 videos. And the frustration wasn't really with even the topic that I was discussing so much so as it was with what's actually going on behind the scenes right now here on this channel. Just to come right out, kind of let you guys know, let the cat out of the bag, at least try to fill you guys in on part of what's going on. But basically my views have been as low as they've been since 2011, and it's certainly not for a lack of effort on my end. In fact, for the first 3 months of this year, I did 42 first impressions and reviews, most of which were for brand new titles the week that they released, for big games at that. And there's just a lot changing with how YouTube works now, not only with how my videos are sent out to you guys, but with the ads that run on the videos, the view counts that are on the videos. In fact, this week YouTube pulled 270,000 views off my channel, and I really don't understand why. And I really can't say more than that right now. I can't tell you guys exactly everything that's going on, but what I can say is I'm going to have to drastically change what I'm doing on here, how many games I'm covering. I won't go as far as to say that this channel has failed, because I have 18,000 subscribers and I'm gaining about 50 per day, which is very awesome, very promising. That could lead to bigger and brighter things one day in the future. Maybe when Dark Souls 2 releases and I can hopefully do a full walkthrough for that game, maybe that will be the surge and boost. This channel needs to get back on track, but right now the future's a little bit kind of fuzzy or uncertain. What is certain though, I will be reviewing Dead Island Riptide. I'll have a review ready on release day. I've been playing through that game this week. I'm not allowed to really say anything about the game yet because of the embargo, but I've been having a lot of fun playing it. I know Grid 2 releases at the end of next month. I'm thinking that I want to review that title. The Last of Us looks like it's going to be pretty good, so I'm considering reviewing that one. Disney Infinity releases on August 18th, and that's really what I'm going to just go all out on for this year. I think that one's going to be a pretty fun game that a lot of the younger crowd's going to be interested in, so that's really what I'm kind of anxious to get to. I know Star Trek releases the same day that Dead Island comes out next week, and I could potentially cover that one if I wanted to, but I watched some gameplay earlier and that game just isn't looking all that good, at least from what I've seen so far. The graphics look great, but the gameplay was kind of iffy. I'll probably sit down again and watch IGN's 30-minute extended play of it and just kind of make a judgment call on if I want to play through that game or not. But as of right now, I haven't even sent out a request for any upcoming game review copies. There's still a few things that I want to get sorted out. I have a few projects that I need to work on. Hopefully you guys are just going to be patient with me if I skip reviewing a few titles over the next few weeks. There's just an awful lot going on that I can't discuss in full on here. Maybe one day I'll be able to do a very up close and personal video just explaining everything and giving you guys kind of an inside look, but for right now this will just kind of have to do. But that's pretty much all the commentary I have for tonight. I've been sick as a dog all this week. My son had snagged a cold from somewhere, passed it over to me like 2 weeks ago. It started going away, and then yesterday it just slammed me back down again. But if you have any questions about the game, just comment below. I'll do my best to try to answer them. Anyways, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and thanks for stopping by.